Congratulations on the listing.
Thank you, Cheryl.
So how could your service have maybe helped with Savannah Guthrie's mother in an abduction situation if she had had that app?
Okay, so first of all, let's be modest in area of security. I'm not saying that we would have helped this particular situation, but let's analyze the problem. The problem is that when this lady potentially got in trouble, she didn't manage to activate 911. This speaks to what we call the personal security gap or paradox. So if we have a daughter, 24, she leaves this building at 6 p.m. As soon as she leaves the building, she feels less safe, right? She's human. She has a 5-minute walk, either to where she parked her car, to the subway, maybe she walks home. As she leaves the building, it's too early to dial 911. She's not in an emergency. Now she's in the parking garage. She notices that the wrong person is approaching her. When she notices that, how far is he from her? 2 cars, 30 feet, closing time, 2 seconds. Does she complete a 911 call? She doesn't. In other words, the problem is that in most situations where you face an assailant or you experience a medical event, you're not going to complete a 911 call. What is required, to your question, Cheryl, is preventative service. In other words, for us to be able to look after you while preserving your privacy 100%. So if these are our children or our elderly parents, Bond can look after them as a personal security companion, detect that there's a problem, engage, check on them, calm them down, guide them, deter unwanted company, and orchestrate first responders.
How does AI play into all of this?
Well, let's assume that somebody is using Bond. So basically, they would download the Bond app with all 15 services. You see here that there are preventative security services like Track Me on the Go. Which means that then somebody wants us to look after them when they're on the go. They activate Track Me on the Go. We will detect that there's an anomaly. They're not on the right route. They've stopped where they shouldn't, or any other anomalies, and then we will reach out. In order to do that very effectively at major scale, you need an AI to help you detect the problem.
Understood. Understood. And we're going to demo that in just a second, so keep your phone out. But I want to ask you about that. You did a direct listing today. Revenue growth is strong, 35% year over year between 23 and 24. What's the path here for the company?
So let's think about the opportunity here. We believe that Bond, this service of preventive personal security, under the mission of let's democratize personal security, everybody that has a smartphone, that's 4 billion people today, should have Bond. This could be as ubiquitous as insurance. In order to grow, in order to expand globally, by the way, we're in 28 countries, we needed to go public. That's why we're here today.
I mean, you are losing cash, which is in the filing.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of the point here. But how are you going to overcome?
Yes, we need to invest because in order to offer these services around the world, we need to make more investments in these command centers.
Let me ask you about some of your customers. You've got, this is in the filing, one customer in 2024 accounted for over half of your revenue in the first 3 quarters. Who is that?
So this is one very large financial institution that started by getting the services that I just described to you and wants more and more, and they've grown faster than other customers. But other customers have much greater potential. We're talking about some of the largest companies in the world. And by the way, they deserve credit because there is no law that requires them to take care of all their employees. Think about it. In this city alone, there are about 20 stores across 4 different retail brands that have given the service to all of their store employees, to salespeople, to real estate agents, to home care nurses. This is a new reality, and we believe a new standard of care that all corporations eventually are going to adopt.
Okay, so back to that company. Is it an American-based company?
It's an American, New York-based company.
An American, New York financial company. Okay. Yes. You also say that you've got a global brand that's got about 200 million customers worldwide. Is that the same company?
Thank you. So this is a different phase of our growth. Everything that I described up until now is basically corporations buying the service on behalf of their employees. Kudos to them. We're now entering a new phase of growth where very large companies, some of them I can't describe or name, want to use the service for their customers. And now we're not talking about 100,000 or 1 million employees. We're talking about customers and clients of very large brands.
Well, you say that you're trusted by some of the largest companies. I'm just going to say them: Apple, Walmart, Disney, Nike, Roche, Ralph Lauren. So they've got Bond to help protect their employees.
Yes, and the key point here, this is not only offered to their executives and to the family of the executive. This is offered to all the employees. Kudos to them for stepping forward with this service.
Well, look, there's reports, that story I mentioned at the top, there's reports that now over at NBC, their bosses are now taking measures to protect their employees, in particular staffers at the Today Show, staffers that work directly for Savannah Guthrie. So, all right, so you're going to demo this. So show us. So I'm out there, it's dark. I live in New York. I'm always worried about walking to New York. So you open up the app, you click on it. Show us what happens.
So you get the app on the phone. This gives you access to 15 services.
Right.
Right now, I'm getting out of the building. Let's assume that it's me. I feel uncomfortable. It's not an emergency. I want somebody to look after me. I can click any of the preventive security services like Track Me and Go, Radio an Agent, or I may click Video Monitor Me.
So you can actually, the person can look at you while you're walking. Okay. So
I click on Video Monitor Me, and then an agent.
Thanks for connecting with Bond. My name's Chris. What's the situation?
Hey, Chris, I'm safe. Just demonstrating here to Fox. I'm going to introduce you to Cheryl. You don't need to deter. Just say hi, Cheryl. Is that okay?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, and there is Chris. Hi, Chris. I am safe in the studio here in New York City. May call you later. You never know.
Can I disconnect?
Yes, thank you for choosing Bond. We're here for you 24/7.
Great job, Chris. So what happened here is that our daughter or son clicked the Video Monitor Me button. Within 5 seconds, what did we deliver on their phone? A personal security companion. You're never alone again.
Yeah.
And that is also a deterrent, because you think, who might approach this? Typically a male, opportunistic, wants to survive, doesn't want any cameras, doesn't want witnesses, which is what we've just introduced.
So what would I pay for this service? As an individual,
so
or can I order this as an individual?
Yes. So if you're a large corporation, much depends on the volume of people that you want to put on the service, and the larger the size of the organization, the price per user would drop. If you're a consumer and you want the service, you go to the App Store of Apple or Google, and you can get that for $450 per year per person.
$450.
Or 3 times that for a family of up to 6 people.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, obviously, we're going to be watching the growth of the company for you. I did look at who you've got advising you, and you've got, former FBI and Secret Service. So I'm assuming that those voices are what helped you create the app, especially when we've got so many threats globally right now. Absolutely.
Helped us develop the platform. The app is the way you access it. And these are advisors across the world. Former head of U.S. Secret Service, FBI, Major Metropolitan Police, which means that when we get to Mexico or Brazil or South Africa or France, we need to understand what's going on the ground, how to connect to law enforcement there, such that when we call in emergencies, and by the way, we've handled 1.4 million service requests in the last 6 years, of those 10,000 emergencies. And police and other 911 facets have been wonderful around the world.
Well, congratulations on the list.